All right, welcome to Talking Investing. George is going to be here. He was here, and then he had a problem with his computer, so he's doing a reboot. So hopefully he'll join us momentarily. He was getting feedback. Welcome, Jeff, Alex, Barry, Sour Melon Gaming. Welcome to the stream. All right, so, yeah, let's see what we got to say. Sour Melon Gaming is saying we broke 21K. Relief rally is back on. I'm encouraged.
Hello.
Aha.
Ah, here we go. It's better.
I hear George. Hold on. Let me. Hey, does everybody see George? Everybody should see George now. He's back.
I'm George.
George is back. Alex is saying, what a roller coaster ride today on the Dow. On the Dow, on everything was a roller coaster today. The Bitcoin miners were a roller coaster. Bitcoin even was up and down. Barry's saying, all we need is time to keep saying relief rally is over. That's right, exactly. Alex says, hi, Tom and George. Hello, Martin. Great buying opportunity. The RSI, Martin's asking about the RSIs. I'll definitely get into that, but they look good. The technicals look good right now.
What is RSI? What does that mean?
It's the radioactive responsive. What does RSI stand for?
You see, these are the things I need to know. I have my color back. I've been out in the sun just to make sure I could get some color. Tom looked too good. Hey, Keith. Yo, Jeff.
Somebody should tell us. You guys know. Yeah, the relative strength index. Thank you.
Relative strength index. It's going up or is it going down?
Whoever
what is it doing?
It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I got to get off the 15-minute because it doesn't mean anything on the 15-minute. But if I go to the 4-hour, I like the 4-hour and the 1 day. And, I mean, on the 4-hour, we're back up almost to oversold. But see, when we got over 70, this was when all the good stuff happened.
$3 and we're above 21.
You see this right here? All this part over 70? That's this whole run up. So we're about to pop into that, I feel like. So that's what I'm looking for on the 4-hour. And then we'll just, as long as you guys asked, we'll go to the 1 day.
Carl, man, I don't remember any of this stuff. That's why I asked.
So we're over 61, which was, if I zoom way out, you'll see 61. This goes all the way back to March. So if you remember in March, we rallied back up to Bitcoin 48,000. That must seem like 100 years ago, but that was just this March, Bitcoin 48,000. All of that activity was over 61 on the daily RSI. We haven't been back there since until we tested here with these two giant green candles, and now today's giant green candle. This was a big green candle for Bitcoin today. This was a good day. So hopefully you guys agree. We got to get a poll up, but I
got the poll. You ready for the poll?
You got the poll?
Will Bitfarm get to 75 cents or $1 next?
They're picking on Bitfarms.
I almost did it. I almost got in. I just couldn't do it.
We'll do a couple polls. Let me do a quick poll.
What happened to Iris?
Complicated story. You got to watch the video, but we'll talk about that too.
Thanks, Gary, for the info. That's insane. All these coins are going, all these miners are going down. It's almost like it doesn't matter what Bitcoin does.
Today, today there was some things picked up. Things got a little bit balanced at the end of today, but for a lot of today, the action on the Bitcoin miners, and this has been true all week, was not cool. It was not right. It's lagging. It will catch up, in my opinion. Almost got this simple poll here. All right. Poll number 1. We got a few polls today. I got some other questions in mind. So the question is Bitfarms going to recover and get back up to $1? I'll pull the chart up so that we can look at it while we vote. Oh, I got to get rid of these. Oh, I don't want the 1 day anyway. We'll do the 1 hour. Do the 4 hour? Yeah, we'll do the 1 day. But I want to get rid of these lines. I was doing something this morning. Barry said sabotage on Bitfarms. You're exactly right. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. What's happening? All right, so somebody just became a member. Thank you. Welcome.
I'm watching. Oh, you did my
welcome to the membership.
Oh, 24.
So here's Bitfarm. This is on the 1 day, so this goes all the way back to all the way back to August. This is fairly recent. This was the relief rally in August when we went from what at that point was the bottom, which was at $1.04. We ran back up. So our relief rally in August, and this is why I have optimism. I know everybody's given up, but that was 122% for Bitfarms, and Bitfarms actually underperformed half of the Bitcoin miners on that run up 122%. So that's my 2 cents. You can see we now took out this line at $1.04 and got down to about 88 cents. And we've been hitting that line day after day after day. We did hit a new low today. We got down to 87.0 cents for Bitfarms. That is a new low. That's a new 2-year low, which for all intents and purposes, that's kind of the Bitcoin universe right now, the last 2 years. So
but you think Bitfarms can make it, right?
I do. I absolutely do. We're gonna get their financial statements next week.
Yeah.
Is it next week?
You should have done that. You wrote down $1 or 75, and it's the polls in U.S. dollars, by the way, not Canadian. If I would have thought Canadian, I would have said $1 Canadian.
Oh, well, they report in U.S. dollars.
Okay.
The only one, for some reason, HUT reports in Canadian dollars. Also,
you sure it's not the British pound?
Argo blockchain reports in the pound, and everybody else reports in U.S. dollars.
Looney? Who? Oh, it's called the Looney? Looney? Is that for Looney Tunes? I'm not picking on you Canadian people.
Martin's saying after the reverse stock split, they
Looney.
will be over $1 again. That does not count, Martin. That does not count.
What? How long? It has to be 90 down before 90 days down before
I thought
under
it was
$1.
180 days.
180, so
90.
6 months. I thought it was 90.
I can't remember. If they are below $1 for a month, no, it's somewhere between 90 and 180 days. Gareth said, "Hey Tom and George, Marathon, Hot Riot, and Hive were all good to me today." Great report on Marathon. Thanks again, Tom. You're welcome. Yeah, hey, listen, I'm trying to call balls and strikes here. When Marathon was struggling, I was not shy about it. But you know what?
No,
they had
you weren't.
Right. There's nobody can say that I was, in the bag for Marathon. But they killed it this month. So.
But at least they're still open.
Yeah, no, they're more than open. They crushed it this month. They did. I mean, if you watch the video I just made this week, I took a clip from last month's video, and I said exactly what my expectations were. And I said, if they do this, then they're doing what they say they're supposed to be doing. And that's all I'm asking. That's all we want out of these guys. They don't have to overperform, but they cannot overpromise and underperform. That's the formula that just is intolerable to me as an investor. Hit your mark. That's all I ask. Gary said,
here's my question.
The bird.
The bird is the word.
The bird is the... Haven't you heard?
Bird. The bird is the word. Sorry. You've never really commented on all of crypto, Tom. What do you think the longevity of all of crypto is?
The crypto universe?
The crypto universe.
I think the crypto universe is in its absolute infancy, and most of what exists today will not survive. I think the cryptocurrencies...
Are you talking how long?
Cryptocurrencies, and obviously, again, this is just my opinion, so take it for whatever it's worth. I think you've got a few projects. Bitcoin, to me, is separate, because still, even to this day, from a technical standpoint, you have Bitcoin and altcoins. That's how cryptocurrency is defined. Even Ethereum's an altcoin. So, a lot of people, there's argument to say, there's 3 or 4 coins that really stand out, and there are, but I don't know which coins are gonna. There's mass adoption on Ethereum. There's a few other projects that seem to have a lot of utility. George is an XRP fan, so if what he thinks is gonna happen with XRP, then that could be a survivor. But there's tens of thousands of these coins and tokens out there. 99+% of those will be gone, I'm going to say 5 years from now, but it's going to be sooner than that. And then new things will arise. And a couple of the ones that are already gained momentum are going to survive and thrive. And
I'm calling the top on Bitcoin, guys.
You're calling
I have a date. And it's a beaver. I use the beaver. It's called the Beaver Moon. I just looked this up. Moon. I'm calling the 8th as the top, and it's going back down.
So
that kind of makes sense.
Gary's clarifying. Sorry to interrupt. Gary's clarifying. You get a warning if it's after 30 days, and then you have 180 days to rectify.
Oh, so it's basically a lot of days.
I'm just not anticipating that type of run. Right? This was over $1 a few days ago.
Oh, no. Mr. Hayes, no, not the silver thing. No, not again.
This was a week ago. We were over $1 on Bitfarms. So it's not like Bitfarms is some, they're not core scientific at 15 cents with very little chance to get back to $1 in the next 180 days.
Dude, have you watched the exchange rate on the euro? It's all over the place.
Well, the dollar
it's down
a little bit.
No, it's down.
Okay,
like
so today
2
we're
pennies.
down.
Yeah, it's crazy. Good job report. That means it goes down.
A good job report. See, this is why the market's action today confused me big time. And I really feel like people don't understand what it is. And I'm not talking to you on our live stream here. I'm talking
to me.
John Q. Public does not seem to understand what it is that the Fed does. Because this good jobs report, you can basically now write in pen, you can write in permanent magic marker. We're getting a 75 basis point hike next time. Yet the market still has 50-50 built in. I would have laid money on that before the jobs came out. But a positive jobs report is the last piece of evidence that he needs to say, listen, I don't need to worry about jobs at all. That's their two mandates. Unemployment and inflation. There is no unemployment issue. We just came in, we just beat today on jobs. So that all but guarantees a 75 basis point hike, in my opinion. So I think there's no doubt about that. I'm stunned and shocked that the marketplace is still 50-50 on that. That's what's being built into the futures, is a 50% chance. And that's, to me, there's no sense in that. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong and why I'm wrong. Are the people that still think we're going to get a 50 basis point rate hike in December? Because remember, there is no meeting in January. So whatever they do in December, that's got to hold them over for 60 days. Darren is saying, yep, Powell will be pissed about the jobs report. Yeah, that's exactly right. Gareth is saying, it felt like 2 rallies in one trading day today. Yeah, and it really kind of was. We rallied, fortunately, into the end of the day because it had erased everything. Let me get out of Bitfarms. So this is Bitfarms. I mean, Bitfarms' all-time low was today at 87 cents. It was at over $1 last week. So the question is, do you guys believe the Bitfarms was forced to put out? Let me go to them. I suppose they weren't forced to, but they chose to respond to some FUD that they're saying flatly is false. Okay. Bitfarms advised its power agreements with Hydro-Quebec remain in place and expects that its...
Tom, guess what?
What?
I am now an active mold assessor.
All right.
Can you believe it took that long and that's it? And boom, I'm in?
I was going to say, that long, that was like instantaneous.
That wasn't even a week. Sorry, I had to, that's impressive to me. That's really impressive. Sorry, go on.
That's good. Congratulations to George. So anyway, their hydropower supplier, there was rumor going around. So they're saying that their agreement is going to remain in place and expects that its current and future Bitcoin production will continue for the foreseeable future without disruption. There was an article out that basically said, oh, Canada and Hydro-Quebec is going to not give any more energy to Bitcoin miners. And Bitfarms basically has come out and said that is absolutely false. Having said that, I'm not sure if it helped them to hurt them to respond to that, because it definitely, their stock got it put to them today, and it's for this reason right here. And this is what happens, and this is why FUD works, because all somebody has to do is spread that rumor. Now Bitfarms puts out a response to that rumor, and what really happens? They're actually legitimizing the rumor. In saying that it's not true, they're increasing the amount of doubt in investors, because only a certain number of investors knew about this, but now Bitfarms has acknowledged it. They're saying it's not true. Now they're in a he says, she says, and investors are looking for any reason to bail right now. So this did not, I will tell you, I bought today. The only thing I bought today, and I bought Bitfarms. So for me, this was a buying opportunity. This was down on, in my opinion, not financial advice. In my opinion, this was totally bogus.
Why was it bogus? They addressed it.
They're put in a tough spot. There was speculation put out about them that their power supply was going to get cut off. That's not a little thing. That's game over.
And now watch what happens when their power supply gets cut off.
They submitted
it always seems to go that way, doesn't it?
Plan.
Huh?
Here they're saying they recently submitted a 10-year supply plan.
Watch what happens.
Let's see. The article.
Trudeau aren't they in Canada?
The article, yes. The article mischaracterized.
Did they have a letter from Trudeau?
I don't think they personally got a letter from Trudeau.
Well, then I wouldn't believe anything that they're writing. Sorry.
Hasn't gotten the Trudeau stamp of approval.
Yes. That's what scares me about Bitcoin miners right now. Sorry. Is that look at what happened in New York.
There's going to be, you know, and New York did not ban Bitcoin mining, but they didn't. They made things very difficult on the people trying to do business there. I do think it seems like what they're really trying to do. Step one, they don't want any more coal involved.
Yeah, the report was written very badly, deliberately so.
Right, they don't want any coal, and that means like an actual coal plant used to mine Bitcoin. Because when you use the power grid, like in Texas, a lot of these people are using, a lot of the big Bitcoin miners are using the power grid. So some percentage of that power grid is coal. So, you know, they can't eliminate it in that fashion. But what they can do is say, you're not going to run a coal plant to mine Bitcoin. And I don't have a problem with that. It's
Yeah, but Charles is saying something about Trudeau has nothing to do with hydro, and the power monopoly is owned by the province of Quebec. I agree with that, but here's the problem. Right. If you want to do something, if somebody says, listen, hey, I got a nice donation for you, doesn't matter what party you're from, they're going to do things to make it difficult if they get paid and the right person asked. It's just how the game's played. You see what I'm saying, Tom, or no?
yes, but there's a lot.
Would you walk away?
I
Would you have to go to the bathroom or something?
No, I froze, so I'm trying to unfreeze, but it's not happening.
You're froze again?
I'm gonna have
It's
to.
cold. Is it really cold in your house?
I'm calling tech. I'm calling.
I think you know what? I'm not anti-Bitcoin miner.
You're an anti-Bitcoin miner.
I'm almost becoming anti-Bitcoin. Sorry, guys.
Oh boy.
And I'm only becoming
There it is.
anti-Bitcoin because is because of what's going on with Bitcoin currently.
Thank everybody for joining the channel.
We'll be right back. Do you have to turn off and start over?
No. Just trying to end the we don't like Bitcoin conversation.
No, I'm just saying that I just said what I said was,
hello, support. I need help. I'm in distress.
it might be a failed project. It's to me, you have to start, if you can't mine it and make money, okay, then it's a failed project. And you know, and I understand the powers that be are driving the price down. But what I'm saying a failed project is, or a failed business model is a business model that you can't make money with. Does that make sense?
That's only one tiny. Remember, the Bitcoin mining. I'm frozen. Sorry, tech is here trying to help. I'm totally frozen. I don't know why. I tried that
Turn
one.
the AC up. Yeah. George Comet froze Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
George is saying money talks and the BS walks. I won't say the bad word. I'll probably get copyright.
Oh,
hey, what's everybody's opinion about Twitter this week, by the way? Twitter? Did anybody even notice that something happened with Twitter this week?
Thank you, tech support, for bringing me back. Yeah, Twitter is no longer a publicly traded company. I still have it on the top of my watch list so that I can just see every day how they're gone. George's comment froze Tom. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. Gareth, welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Talking Investing squad. Thank you for being a member. Barry is asking, who are you preventing with next week? But I don't know what that means. Are you asking who I'm talking to or interviewing? Because I will tell you, let me look at the calendar. So I just finally caught back up with Sue. They're reporting, HUT is reporting on the 10th. So we decided we would talk after this report comes out. So I'm hoping to talk to Sue somewhere 14 or 15. And I'm talking to Jason, the CEO of Riot, next week on the 9th. So, yeah, that's coming right up. Next week is Jason from Riot. And And yeah, we'll talk about Riot. Somebody asked me earlier if we can talk about Riot. There's some questions. I got some questions for the boss at Riot. There's a missing piece of information. They got to tell us what's going on. That's one of my bigger positions. I like everything Riot is doing, but there is one problem. Their production is not representative of their exahash. So I don't believe they're being inefficient. They've got immersion cooling. They've got all that. Something's happening where there's downtime that they're not talking about, in my opinion. That's my educated guess. I don't know that, but that's why I want to talk to Jason and see if he can just let us know, like, can we expect you to get back up to, right, they're at 7 exahash. They should not be at 509 Bitcoin mined in a month. That math doesn't work, so something's going on. And I'm hoping it's a short-term problem and he has, an answer for it, and then we'll know. That's the key. Whether it's a short-term problem or a long-term problem, we got to know. What is it? What are we dealing with? So we know as investors. Otherwise, people just start bailing. If they don't know, they assume it's something so awful that it can't even be spoken. So they bail. Martin, thank you for the plug. Martin said everyone should join. It's only $5. Well worth the information Tom gives us. Thank you. I appreciate that, Martin. Yeah, because we're going to fire George. George did the walk-off. He walked off. He dissed Bitcoin. He said he's a non-believer, and he walked off. This is an outrage. No, he must be having a work-related. He's still got all the hurricane stuff going on, so you guys, if you have been noticing lately, he's been popping in and out of our live streams because he's slammed with that at the same time. Why do you think the miners don't respond to Bitcoin's rally today? That is the question. All right. Yeah, I mean, some of them did and some of them didn't. So I will go run down the miners and talk about that. Gareth is saying, most of my current profits are thanks to your careful analysis. Glad to finally give something back to you. Thank you very much, Gareth. I appreciate it. I'm glad. Hey, listen, if what I'm saying helps anybody, I'm just... You see, I got the time. I'm interpreting the data. This is what I like doing, so I'm thrilled that this is what I get to do. So I appreciate everybody for joining and following along and being on the live streams, etc. Gary's saying sacrifice the non-believer. George, but this is interesting because George has been one of the most steadfast long-term believers, right? And I try to get a sense from all the people I talk to, more than just beyond like our live stream, of who has conviction and where their conviction is at, short-term, long-term, etc. George has been one of the highest conviction Bitcoin people I know, and I would say within the last week, and I did a video on this earlier in the week, I would say within the last week, all of a sudden George is nervous about Bitcoin. And if he talks more, I think he's still leaning towards he feels like it's going to go where we think it's going to go. But this is the first time I've seen him blink. And that's happening in the entire market. And that is why there were days, in the middle of the day today, we were at one point, Bitcoin was way up, the NASDAQ was way up, and the Bitcoin miners were down. So it's like, to me, that's when people have truly started to, panic on the Bitcoin miners. So we look at the fear and greed index from time to time in some of my videos, but that is the fear and greed index for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, and I'm going to go to the 1 day, Bitcoin is acting very healthy in my opinion right now. I mean, if you go to the 1 day, this bottomed out September 21st we got a double bottom here. We flashed back down to this on October 13th. That was 3 weeks ago. So in the last 3 weeks, I mean, this is not the mother of all rallies, but from the low to the high, that was over 17%. And from where we are right now, it's 16%. I'm hoping this 16% is a part of a 35 or 40% rally. That's what I've been calling for and hoping for. We seem to be halfway there, and we keep stalling out. But look, we're starting to. I hate drawing because awful, but these are all higher highs now, right? That is step one. This is a higher low. So that's what we need to start seeing. So that's why I'm saying the technicals look good. Bitcoin looks strong. And if I go back, I'm going to go way back. This goes, welcome back, George. Oh, I got to get rid of that.
I just want to let everybody know we're setting the trap. Sorry, guys.
This goes all the way back to, okay, so June 18th was the day. We flash crashed, and you can see that was just a flash crash. I've gone over this 1,000 times, but it's worth repeating, apparently. We flash crashed down to 17,500 and change, but this one-day candle closed at very close to 19,000. So truly, like, we have not been back in this neighborhood. We double bottomed here at around 18,150 at the end of September and the middle of October. It's been pretty much up from there. Yes, and Bitcoin does move in swings, and we have up moves and pullbacks and up. But I am hoping we are now starting to look like we're forming a pattern that has the potential to finish out. And I'm not calling for Bitcoin 50,000. I have two goals. My ultimate goal is I want to get to, this blue line up here. The purple line is where we got to on the last rally. The blue line was my target for the last rally. We did not get there, but you can see, I mean, we got very close. So I'm still hoping we run up to 25,000. If not, we did have this rally in the middle back up to 22,400. I think one of those two price targets is reasonable. And today's Bitcoin action was some of the best we've seen in a long time. So I'm gaining confidence in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin miners are lagging behind. And like I said today, you know, I took an opportunity. Bitcoin finished in the green. Bitcoin was red all day. And I will tell you, I bought some options and I feel like they're giving them away. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So how long do you think this rally is going to go on for? I mean, I think you think till the 8th of November?
I think there's a couple of choices. We got in the United States, we have an election next Tuesday, which really only leaves us Monday and Tuesday of trading to have any rally into that. And then I don't know what happens.
So you're saying the 8th. You're just not saying the 8th.
No, because then what happens is we have the election on the 8th. We have CPI data on the 10th.
Do you think the election holds any bearing on the price of Bitcoin?
The only thing to me right now, elections, obviously going into an election, there's uncertainty because you don't know who's going to win. So when the election is over, there will be certainty. Now, unfortunately, the way the U.S. elections have been going the last several cycles, we're not getting that clarity the night of the election. It's taking a day or 2 or 3 days, but in the end, that's inconsequential. Ultimately, we will get the clarity of who won the election, and that will be behind us. We're going to get the CPI data later in the week, and then we get on the 14th, we get the Fed. No, sorry, we got the 14th of, on the 13th of December, we get the next CPI, and on the 14th of December, we get the Fed. So there's a 1-month window in the middle. That's what I'm looking at. I think we stand a shot at a run-up the next couple of days, and then we may pull back, and then we got about 30 days in the middle, basically from CPI report to CPI report, where I think we could rally.
You're not hearing about this December 8th and 10th thing that's happening? Anyone? Does anybody know what December 8th is? It's either the 8th or the 10th, December. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Bueller?
No, what? From what?
December 8th. Does anybody know why that day is important? See if anybody's up to date on what's going on.
November 8th?
December.
Oh,
December
8th?
Yes. What's going on that day?
I'm gonna do. Darren is asking me, take your chart back 4 years. He wants to take a look at something. So I'm gonna go to the. I think we can do that on the weekly.
Why are people calling me? It's like I'm running a business here. What is going on, people?
Let's make all those disappear.
Poll election matters. Next Fed meeting? Could be. No, it's not.
So
But
4
that's a
years.
good guess. That's a good guess. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the 8th or the 10th. But somebody is doing something. I don't know who they are. It's me. I'm going out to dinner with my wife. No, I'm joking.
Wow. That was like gonna be my fourth guess. So I think you're talking. You're looking at the ugliness that was November and December of 2018. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. It's funny how people say it's bullish, people say it's bearish. At least I know what the difference is now. I never knew for a long time. So I'm scared of both.
No, we're not scared of a bull run.
I know, but
a
I used to
bull,
be
yes.
a bull running at me. I was like,
I think that's what you were going for, Darren. Let me know if that's what you're talking about.
wow, look at that. That is ugly. Yeah, do you think it's going to go back there? Question mark.
My opinion is no. I believe I've been unwavering. I think we bottomed out on June 18th. We flash crashed. We haven't been anywhere near it since. It's now 4.5 months later. Right? And you know, I mean, how long do you have to go without revisiting your lows before you know that you can officially call that a bottom? I think I'm sticking with my call.
Are you looking at the Fibonacci? Is that what you're doing? You're looking at the Fibonacci.
You love the Fibonacci's.
I just like saying it. It's the Fibonacci. Is that what you're looking at, Tom, for making your decisions? You can tell us that you're really obsessed with Fibonacci.
But the truth is I'm not obsessed with the Fibonacci's. I look at the Fibonacci's, but I rarely, if ever, make a buying decision based on that because it is a way to tell trends, short-term trends in trading, lines of support, lines of resistance. But to me, it doesn't tell a picture in the long term, in my opinion. So I'm not saying it's useless. I'm just saying I don't tend to use it because of that reason. Gary's saying... Go ahead.
No, are they trying to spell something?
Election will see the market rally, I think, says Gorilla. That's how I'm
that'd be
pronouncing
kind of
that,
nice.
but that's not right. Gary is saying Marathon has used a $100 million line of credit in 3 months, burning money. They have 7,821 restricted coins backing their debt. And Gary is 100% correct. The fact that they're still hodling 100% of their Bitcoin is starting to mystify me because borrowing, that's not even long-term debt that's structured well. You know, and it's not long-term debt that's got, you know, a decent interest rate and it's structured, secured by their equipment. This is collateralized by their Bitcoin. What's worse than that is they need to maintain a 65% loan-to-value ratio. So they got to use more of their Bitcoin to collateralize it than they're actually borrowing. To me, that $100 million is nuts. There's that I don't know what they do. So what do they do the next 3 months? Borrow another $100 million? I think that's a fair question.
Nobody knows what's going to happen on December 8th. Somebody type it in so I don't have to tell you.
December 8th? I know what
happened. No one knows.
Well, I'll give you two things. On December 7th, my parents got married 58 years ago. 60 years ago.
Type in. This is why I still think Bitcoin's going down. And then I'll give you my
it's Pearl Harbor Day,
reasons.
December 7th.
Well, and you know what's so funny is that's why they do everything they do when they do it.
It's a full moon. It's a new moon.
No,
it's an eclipse. Solar eclipse.
December
lunar eclipse.
8th, House hearings on the future of crypto, featuring industry leaders.
Oh.
So this is when they're going to take everybody and shellac them. Okay? They got some impressive people. And so I think we're going to kind of have an idea of what is going to come with these regulations. And I think that's why I'm still nervous on Bitcoin. I'm nervous because of regulations,
I think
and
go ahead.
that's a big problem right now, and not knowing if it's even going to be legal to have Bitcoin or not. And well, my big problem is trading this offline. And I want to thank the person who gave me the 500 Bitcoin last week. I really appreciate that. I won't mention your name as our agreement. But you know what I mean? That's what people don't understand is the beauty of crypto is not a centralized network, is a decentralized network.
Sorry,
Tom
I'm
is stuck on
with
that
the
one.
poll. No, because
Uh-oh, he's a poll problem. But does that make sense?
here we go.
I can't understand why
Go
we
ahead.
don't, you know, they're just lingering this over us. And I mean,
they are not my 2 cents.
Go ahead.
They're going to have all their talk. December 8th sounds like it's going to be one of the days they're going to meet with the bigwigs, and they're going to maybe bring them in front of the House or whatever the case may be. But
and belittle them.
We're far away from regulations being done. They're really not even started, and in my opinion, they're going to come in phases. And those phases, in my opinion, are going to be number one. The United States is going to start to regulate stable coins, in my opinion. That is the first thing that's going to happen. The second thing that's going to happen is they're going to regulate the exchanges. Those are their two priorities by a million miles. Third place is like in distant third place because all of the activity goes through these exchanges. So, you know, if they can make sure that stable coins are stable and there's a guard at the gate with these exchanges, the exchanges will be just like banks, and they don't need to do a lot of regulation past that. That doesn't mean they're going to do no more regulation. They're going to keep banging us with regulation.
Here's the regulation I'm scared of. It's going to be a felony to trade off of network, and that's my problem.
That would be drastic regulation.
And
I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but that's
what I believe is going to happen. And that's the reason why I'm scared of crypto, and that's the reason why I'm scared of Bitcoin.
But even
if that is done,
even if they do that, let's say they do that.
Okay, they do that.
That's not going to stop institutional money from coming in. That's not going to stop all the retirement funds from coming in. That's not going to stop ETFs from buying Bitcoins and having people buy the ETFs. Like all the dominoes are still going to happen. It's just actually what it will do is, and it won't even do this because I don't even know how they would enforce that if they wanted to, but it would stop the whales, your favorite people, from, you know, doing some manipulation off the books.
Well, those are my brothers and sisters.
Barry said a beetle died on December 8th. Which one? JM saying Mara is scary. I mean,
I said no on the vote.
You voted no? Oh, yeah. So there's a new poll up. Are the election results going to affect Bitcoin? So I'm not talking over the next 3 days. Like, based on, does it matter who wins? Is that going to have an effect on? Oh, the poll is 50-50 right now.
I'm going to tell you.
By the way, the last poll was in favor of Bitfarms by 70-something%.
To go to $1?
Yep.
Yeah, but they probably thought it was Canadian dollar. Silly.
I feel confident they did not think that.
I'm saying that we're going to tap out on the 8th, and we're going to hit a new low on the 23rd.
And then Barry's saying that's okay if they do that in the U.S., George, because it's still legal in the rest of the world.
I guess I got to move. Where should we go? Yeah, we shot on December 8th.
So JM is saying, so is Bitfarms okay for their hydro contract or not? Bitfarms put out a statement today that said there is no change in their hydro contracts, and they expect there's been no disruption in their operations, and they expect no disruption on a going forward basis. So you can take from that whatever you want to take from that, but that sounds to me like they're saying they called it something bogus wasn't the word they used, but they called it like an inaccurate report. So that was right out of the words of Bitfarms. So they called that out and said that that was false. Rama thinks if Republicans control the House, Bitcoin is safe. I think Bitcoin is already the regulation argument on Bitcoin. I feel like is it's not going to be under the SEC. Even Gary Gensler has said that himself. So there's no one even arguing left for that to happen. So
was his lips moving?
Yeah, I hear you. I know. But he's been adamant. He wants everything under the SEC's domain. So, I feel like we're out of the woods on that. That doesn't mean there won't be more regulations, and that's always something. I mean, regulations are a part of, think of the banking, the massive, monumental regulatory changes we had after the 2008 crash in the housing market. I mean, that was some of the most dramatic regulations of all time, but we made it through and had one of the biggest rallies of all time in the market after that. Just trying to catch up on the live chat.
Oh, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
John Lennon. I didn't remember. I remember that day, but I didn't remember it was December 8th. That was
I don't even know if that would be illegal.
What?
Oh, what we were talking about at lunch.
Gosh, I wish I could remember that.
So if Bitcoin goes away, my house, my cars, etc. goes away as well. I'll be living on the streets. I don't think it's going away. My thing of a failed project is a failed project. And right now it's not failing, but it's just teetering. You can't make money. If you can't make money, it's not working.
But that is from the perspective of the Bitcoin miners. So
that's what we're talking about.
Something is going to have to sort itself out. But
right.
The project itself is so much more than that, right? That's the verification process. But I mean, Bitcoin's reached a level of adoption that's, in my opinion, there's no going back. Obviously, anything can happen. So, no one can say with certainty, but I don't see. I just don't see it. I can't fathom. I don't think anything's ever gotten this mature and been at this stage and then failed. Some things fail later when they've gone through their entire life cycle and become obsolete because the next thing came along. But Bitcoin Bitcoin is just getting going, in my opinion. So I think there's lots and lots of room. I'm with Kathy Wood. She's still saying $1 million.
Oh, are you guys going out next week or no? Did you hear me?
What?
He said, are you still going out next week or no?
Yeah. No. Any update on Core Scientific? So no meaningful updates right now on Core Scientific. I assume they're going to spend a certain period of time renegotiating with the banks. I think there's some more action to happen on Core Scientific. It's not just going to be straight into bankruptcy, asset liquidation. In my opinion, there's more to follow, but I don't know what it is yet. Rhodium Miner, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Reverse merger with SSNT. You think it'll be another, support Greece situation? It's a $1.5 billion valuation. Is that still going through? I thought that was put on hold indefinitely. So let me know, Jeff. Is there a date set for that, or is that just on hold indefinitely? Because that was the last thing that's what I thought was happening with that. And I don't see it happening. I mean, we are not in an environment for that type of a merger. Yeah, and I don't know what the details are. Really, people got duped on that support Gree merger. it was very unclear to investors what was happening in that merger as far as the conversion on the shares. And I knew because people were talking about short squeezes and that kind of stuff, and everything. It was a meme stock, and everything they were saying was pretty much a mathematical impossibility. So that told me that, you know, it was too complicated and they didn't know what was going on. I have not looked into the details of the reverse merger. I thought it was on hold, but let me know if I'm wrong. But I think that would be a bad move. I think they should hold off on that. This is not a good time. Patient Bill is saying, not complaining, just wondering why it's never mentioned, like CleanSpark has management to grow magically with almost no capital. Oh, they've managed. Well, I mean, I'm looking at, if you watch my video that I put out today, they sold 826 Bitcoin this month. So that was $16 million. Their operations are just a small fraction of that. So, you know, they told us what they bought. They're spending, I think they have 290 Bitcoin left. They've chosen to use their Bitcoin to grow. And they've bought it in small chunks, you know, 0.3 exahash here, 0.5 exahash there. They've made a couple of bigger purchases than that. They bought 10,000 new miners. Not new miners, but 10,000 new Bitcoin ASIC miners. That was at $28 a terahash. So subsequent to that, they've been paying between $15 and $17 a terahash on the spot market for some of these companies that are desperate. So they're, you know, I think I've been following the money on that one. So in my opinion, I feel like I know where that came from and where it went. And by the way, yes, they have definitely done stock dilution. So there is that, and that's, you know, that's a factor. That's one of the reasons their stock is down. They've had to do some stock dilution. So it's been all of the above for them, but they did say very early in the year, they said they were going to use a three-pronged approach. And I'm glad to see that really they're not really doing debt. They have taken on a little debt. But out of the three pieces, that's the least that they've done. And to me, that is good because you can see we had just learned in the last 2 months, debt is the death of these Bitcoin mining companies because they don't get to get a 15-year mortgage on their warehouse or their factory. This is short. Their long-term debt is, 24 months, 36 months. That's not long-term debt. That's like a freight train coming. And when we go into a bear market like this, we just went into a bear market for a year. So that's if these were 2-year loans, they just burned a year of it, and Bitcoin is less than half of what it was worth, when they made the loan. So all of these loans are going to be distressed, and that is going to be the Bitcoin miners' problem, but it's also going to be the bank's problem. I mean, they're going to be stuck holding the bag, so there will be some negotiating. And Iris Energy, I mean, what they managed to do was, I don't even know how they managed to do that. It was all fair. It was all legitimate, but they isolated their debt. Essentially, there's no recourse beyond the direct machines that the money was borrowed against, which I think was about 2.6 exahash worth of machines. There's no other recourse. So all the deposits they put down, all the cash they have in the bank, that's all safe for Iris Energy. So the day that press release came out a few days ago, I think everybody hit the panic button and they didn't digest exactly what that press release was saying. That they got the bank over a barrel, in my opinion. So I think they're actually going to get to keep all that equipment, restructure all that debt, and in the meantime, while they're arguing about it, it's not like they have to turn it off. So, Core Scientific's doing the same thing. They mined 41 Bitcoin yesterday. Their stuff isn't turned off. They're just, they're renegotiating. And yes, they're in trouble. But Iris is not in the same kind of trouble because they don't have their exposure. They totally cut. The company has no other exposure related to that debt, which is incredible that they managed to have those terms. But that's what they got. All right, it's time for the smash the like button. button. We got
So,
21 likes.
How are we doing on the poll?
Let's check in on the poll. It's looking awfully close. 52%. Are the election results going to affect Bitcoin? We have 40 votes. We have 52% yes right now. So we're very, very close to even. So if you haven't voted, vote on the poll. If you hadn't hit the like button, please smash the like button. It's free. It's free to you. And it helps us. And we appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to... Okay, so Jeff is saying they shelved the IPO back in March. Okay, that makes sense to me. That's what I thought I remembered. So, Rama, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, is saying, after the Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin price has to double to sustain mining operations. So, the thing is, that is true. That a lot of people are very scared of the halving, but there have been 3 halvings, and each time Bitcoin has done substantially more than doubled, right? 15x, 30x. Now, I'm not expecting that. This third time, we did not get that gigantic type of a move. So, you know, as Bitcoin gets more and more expensive, it's not going to 30x at the next halving, but all it has to do is 2x for everybody to be in the same place. And I would expect it to do a lot more than that, in my opinion. So I do understand a lot of people are very worried. Somebody just wrote me a long note. Their strategy is basically they want to buy in. They want to take the run up on the Bitcoin miners. Let me know if you're on the stream and this was you. I can't remember who said this. They want to take the run up in the Bitcoin miners for the next year. Then they want to take those profits and buy Bitcoin, because their sense is after that, Bitcoin is going to outperform the Bitcoin miners because of the halving. And then they'll take the run up in Bitcoin and switch back to the Bitcoin miners after that. So I don't know if that made sense or if I got lost in the middle of that, but essentially they think there's going to be a short-term crash in the Bitcoin miners when the halving occurs. But that has not happened in the past. Then that doesn't mean that has anything to do with the future. We'll see. Because this cycle was different. This is its own unique cycle this time, for sure. And we got a lot of other things happening between now and the halving. George.
So you're saying there's a chance. You're just going. I'm just letting you go.
Ty is saying diluting in bear market is not ideal. Raising debt with low interest last November is the best move. So the question is, when is the debt due? Marathon was able to, they raised a bunch of convertible debt at 1%. So I like that, and it's not due until 2026. So that was a good move. What they've done with the $100 million short-term line of credit, I don't like. What they did with the $750 million that's due in 2026 at 1%, that is essentially, there's very little difference between that and raising capital through equity, because what's going to happen is that $750 million is going to get converted to equity. They're either, in my opinion, either Marathon's going to fail in between now and then, or if their price isn't $75 by the year 2026, then something's gone horribly, horribly wrong. So really what they did was, it's convertible debt, and to me it's equity. So, and I would rather, those were phenomenal terms, but they only got they would not have got those terms on debt. On straight debt, it would have been much shorter term, and it would have been a much higher interest rate. So there is the money has dried up. So right now, the Bitcoin miners, and this has been true for most of the year, they don't have the option to go out and say, let me borrow, 50 million or 100 million or 150 million at a reasonable interest rate over a 5-year period. That loan does not exist for them. And you can see the terms of the loans they've gotten. They're disastrous. All these companies got these loans assuming Bitcoin was going to 100,000 like Plan B talked about. And, they were almost banking on that. And obviously that did not happen. Barry's saying, I think it would depend if there was a Bitcoin ETF. If not, people will still use the miners for exposure during halving. I think the Bitcoin ETF is going to help the miners because the more access there is to Bitcoin, the more the price is going to go up, and the more the price goes up, the more the miners are worth, in my opinion. So I feel like the ETF is, I think that's a big giant step waiting to happen. That's a catalyst, in my opinion. Gareth is saying, I agree with Rama, who said, Riot, I think this was the end of a long stream, but essentially talking about Riot with little debt. Yeah, Riot has no debt. So that's one of the things I love about Riot. They have a massive amount of equity. They have no debt. They have a lot of equipment. They have a lot of, they've already put the vast majority of their payments down to get to 12.5 exahash. So they have very little left to pay on that. And they will get to the end of the process never having taken on any debt. So a lot of people at Marathon will argue functionally we did the same thing. We're just paying 1% along the way instead of 0. And they may end up being right about that. But, you know, Riot's not, that's why Riot was #1 on my list of companies that I thought were safe in a crypto winter. They have no debt, and they have an extremely strong balance sheet. So actually they were either #1 or #2. Hut is in the same position. Just rock solid balance sheet. Tom, do you think the increasing rumor of a CBDC will push some people towards Bitcoin? I don't know what the answer to that is. I do think it will. If that happens, then I mean that's a kind of an acknowledgement on the government's part that, you know, cryptocurrency is here, it's here to stay, and obviously that would be essentially a stable coin. So yeah, that probably would help. Jury, hey, welcome to the stream. Zach is asking, is core at a good entry price?
Your camera's frozen again, Tom.
Oh, no. Sorry, everyone. I don't know why my camera is freezing.
Tom?
Can you hear?
Guess what?
What?
I think your face is breaking the camera.
It is. It's been a rough week, let me tell you. That's entirely possible. God. Oh, we might have tech support back. Holding for tech.
Wonder what happened.
I don't know. He has a series of events and steps.
I have a question. Can you buy a miner right now, like a 108? I think the Bitmain is like 22. I've seen them for $2,400.
Thank you, support. I'm back.
Can you buy that miner, plug it in, and make money?
Plug it in your garage paying consumer prices for energy? No.
Yep.
No, you need to have a contract like these big. That's why there's an awful lot of exahash that's going to disappear. The worldwide hash rate has blown up, and a lot of that has to do with the miners that we're looking at. You can see finally Marathon got, you know, they got 7 exahash online. We've had a lot of the North American Bitcoin miners get a lot of hash rate online. But there's an awful lot of hash rate that is still clinging to the hope of a quick rebound, and they're losing money every month because pretty much everything that's not the latest and greatest is losing money. And like I said, even with the latest and greatest, if you got to pay, you know, the price that you and I pay at home, you're not even making money at that. So it's tight right now. This is the weeding out process right here. So I think we're going to see a leveling off of the difficulty level and the hash rate, even though the North American miners will continue to add exahash. I think a lot of machines are coming offline every day. And you know, I'm talking about a rally up to 25,000. That's not enough to change the economics of this. It's enough for the Bitcoin miners to run up because they're buying energy at a fraction of what we would buy energy for. So even Core Scientific basically said they have to sell it at 9 cents. That's a disaster. So, you know, that's why their hosting side was losing money massively.
I just, that's why I'm saying it's failed, by the way.
So is that your final answer? Bitcoin has failed?
No, I'm not saying it's, I'm saying that right now, the project has failed.
So what do you think comes next would be,
That's
I
what
guess,
is
my
very
question.
interesting.
Well, let's
I
hear
don't
your
know.
speculation.
My speculation is the price goes down.
You think the price of Bitcoin
I
is
think
going
we're
to
in
continue to go
we're
down?
in for a problem for the next 2 to 3 years now. That's what I think.
The next 2 to 3 years. That takes us beyond the halving.
Yeah, I'm thinking we are.
So let's see. I'm trying to catch up. Barry said WB Tom, but I don't know what that means. Sorry. I'm not
What does
good
that
at
mean?
Shorthand. I don't know. Let's see. Gary's saying, yes, Iris gave back 3.5 exahash, canceled the loan. They are left with all their mining sites, 2.4 exahash, and 75 million in prepayments to Bitmain and 53 million in cash and no debt, no bankruptcy. Right. So what they did, and a lot of people, so Gary, you got that right on. But if you see, the market panicked when that press release came out. I think for the first 24 hours, everybody thought that was bad news. But what you just, that summary is exactly right. But I even think there's a chance that they're going to have to, that the bank will massively restructure and they'll even get to keep the 3.5 exahash. So, you know, it could even be even better than that. But yes, the way you just explained it is exactly right. Let's see. Rama is saying 1 Bitcoin mining power costs $8,500 at 4 cents per kilowatt. Right. And I don't know where everyone else is around the world, but we pay much more than double that in residential areas in the United States.
Well, that just means all the retail guys are gone.
All the little guys are right. All the little guys are going to go away, and some of them may still be plugged in, just hoping and holding on. But you know, they can only do that for so long because they're losing money.
Because that's what I was thinking of doing. But it's like, how long do you want to lose money for?
Well, you got to ask yourself. I mean, right now you're saying we're in for years of pain. So, and does that end in the problem being solved? What solves the problem? And again, I'm not saying that. I think Bitcoin has bottomed. I think Bitcoin's bottomed. I think we will never see that number again.
That
doesn't mean
different
I think
school of thoughts.
Well, and I don't think we're going to rush into a bull market and go to the moon either. I think we're definitely
You honestly feel that you think Bitcoin is bottomed? Honestly?
Yes.
Really?
I completely think
I guess that's
Bitcoin...
the difference. Is I don't believe that it's done.
Well, listen, everybody, you got to go.
Right, and I'm not
believe
saying
what
you're
you
right.
believe.
Right, I'm
You
not
gotta
saying
go
you're
with
right
it.
and I'm wrong, or I'm right and you're wrong, or I'm wrong and you're right, or whatever that goes.
Let me put it this way. If that's what you believe and you invest the opposite way, you're going to lose your money because you're not going to believe in your investment. So it's just, that's the way it is. So,
right.
and that's the way everybody should do this, right? I mean, it's okay if you've lost faith and you're not sleeping anymore, then...
Oh, no, I sleep great.
Well, I know for you, this is not a make or break situation anyway.
Probably gets me in a lot of trouble. That's probably what my problem is.
But for an awful lot of people are betting a lot of their money, I think, in this sector and a lot of the other small cap, high growth stocks, right? I mean, it's high risk stuff. Craig, welcome.
High risk. Rig lost for 5. Yeah, and it's funny because you remember how everybody was talking about Bitcoin and making, hoodling, hodling, and now we look at how bad that strategy was. But who would have known? You know what I mean?
It's different. Every one of these companies had a different strategy. Like, for instance, Hut is still hodling 100% of what they mine, but they slammed on the brakes a year ago. And they did it. I don't think anybody at the time noticed for the first 3 to 6 months, but they haven't spent a penny on a Bitcoin miner in a year. These are all
really?
just deliveries. That's why they've lowered, they were talking 6.5 exahash by June of 2022. Then they said 6.5 exahash by December of 2022. Then they said 3.5 exahash by December of 2022. And when you look at the purchase orders they already had, that just means they're accepting delivery of that which they've already bought. So they put the brakes on, and that has allowed them to hodl because they did not go spend. If you look at Core Scientific's statement of cash flows, they've spent, and the third quarter hasn't come out yet, but they spent almost $500 million on Bitcoin mining machines and operations in the first half of the year. Right? If they had slowed that down, if they had done half of that, they'd have $250 million, which probably would have gotten them through their problem. But they were ultra aggressive. So those two represent the opposite end of the spectrum, in my opinion. Hut was the most conservative out of everybody. Core was the most aggressive by far out of everybody. And all the other companies fall somewhere in between on the spectrum. So depending on where you're at, unfortunately, and I know a lot of you, this is why Bitfarms is a love them or hate them, because Bitfarms took a risk. They took a calculated risk in the middle that turned out very poorly for them. They bought a bunch of Bitcoin. They borrowed money to buy Bitcoin. So it's taken them a long time to fix that problem. It was fixable. It was manageable, but it was a blow to the stock. It was a blow of confidence in management. So, they were a higher risk play. But not like Core Scientific. Core Scientific, they were counting on that. The math does not work for them at $20,000 Bitcoin.
I guess they were Plan B people, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Martin's saying get solar panels and you're good. Let's see. I'm sorry. Just catching up. Ty's saying even if Bitcoin drops to 14,000, that's okay as long as it will go back to 70,000 within 3 years. So that and a lot of people, 14,000 is a pretty common number. A lot of people think it's going to go to 16 or 14 or 10 or 11,000. I think George thinks it's probably even going to go lower than that. So that is a school of thought out there. There's no doubt about it. Not everybody has my position. I think the bottom's in. We'll see. Time will tell. But that's what it looks like to me. But nobody knows the future. Other events could occur that change the whole thing. Steve is asking, does George know about the Bitcoin cycles? So that is a question for you, George.
What do you mean? What aspects? The Fibonacci's?
Yes, I believe he's referring to the Fibonacci's. I think
I believe in the moon cycle.
I'm guessing Steve is talking about the 4-year cycle on the halvings.
Oh, yeah, I know about them. I know they're a pain in the butt.
Sour Melon Gaming is saying, Sue Ennis is a very smart and beautiful woman. I believe in her. So I'm hopefully, like I said, I just traded emails with her. I don't know if it was last night or today. So she wants to wait. They're reporting on the 10th. And I'm glad to talk to her after they report, because if I talk to her the day before or 2 days before they report, she's just going to give me a bunch of things where she says I can't answer that question. So once they've reported everything, we'll really get to dig in and talk about it. So I'm looking forward to that, but that's about a week away. And Darren's saying, and Jason Les is a professional poker player. The man knows how to think ahead and does not leave yourself without outs. I know. I was fascinated. I don't want to dominate his whole interview because I could get obsessed with that. But yeah, he wasn't, when you say he was a professional poker player, like for 10 or 15 years, that's all he did. So he was a legit professional poker player. And really, he segued right from that into Bitcoin with nothing in the middle. So he's got a very interesting story. I can't wait to talk to him. But I think, yeah, I think that background has helped him, and I think he's made a lot of the right moves.
I think that's what this is too, is gambling right now.
Well, to an extent, the stock market, a lot of people think the whole stock market's just a big gambling session.
Makes your stream unserious. What makes your stream unserious? Me? Tom's the serious one. I can't be serious. I can be Shirley, but I can't be serious.
Surely you're kidding.
Life's too serious.
CleanSpark. How secure are they? I mean, CleanSpark's another company I personally have a high level of conviction in. So for me, that's one of the ones that I think is doing it right. They're, I know that here's the, it seems like there's a situation with all the Bitcoin miners. The number one complaint that I hear on CleanSpark is there are a lot of people that are very upset with the compensation packages for senior management. So, that's just something you got to decide for yourself. I look at compensation packages and ask, does it have a material effect on the company? And really, the answer in CleanSpark's case is absolutely not. So a lot of people don't care. They say, these guys are just trying to make themselves rich, and, I'm not going to invest in them. So that's a lot of people. I'd say that's the biggest reason CleanSpark's stock is as low as it is. But for me, I'm looking at it, running the numbers every way I can, saying, even if they hit every bonus possible, I hope they hit all their bonuses. That means they're going to be rolling in money as a company, which is what we want as shareholders. So I'm okay with it. It seems like a lot of money, but if these companies are going to be what we hope they're going to be multi-billion-dollar companies. So $5 or $10 million is, I don't mean to be cavalier because obviously that's an awful lot of money, but
ton of money.
But to a publicly traded company, it's chump change if it's a part of their overall strategy that gets them where they're going, in my opinion.
Oh, maybe you're saying my mic's too low. Abe, is that what you're saying? Maybe that's what it is.
Are people having trouble hearing George's mic and or mine for that matter?
Yours perfect. I think Steven always messes with mine just to mess with me. He's like, I'll get him. We're making his mic really low.
So Rama's asking CleanSpark, how do they plan to reach 22 exahash? And I have the same question. So Craig is saying strategically buying machines during the bear market. Craig's saying we have an all-star team. So here's the only thing I'll say. CleanSpark is the only Bitcoin miner out of all the Bitcoin miners that has exceeded. So every Bitcoin miner went into the year 2022 with an anticipated hash rate at the end of the year, right? They had their plan. CleanSpark's the only one. Forget meeting their plan. They've beat their plan. So I've been extremely impressed with their growth. Now, how they get to 22, I'm still scratching my head on that one as well, but they seem extremely confident that they're getting there. I don't think they need to get to 22. They do keep reiterating they will be at 22 exahash by the end of 2023. For me personally, for my investment strategy with them, I am not relying on that. the growth that they're doing right now, I think, they're making great deals, and I think they should. I feel that they've been aggressive but careful. And that's where I want them to. That's what I would. If they get to 14 exahash and they stayed in that kind of aggressive mode, but careful enough not to go out of business, you don't want to go out of business in the middle, because then it's game over. So that's my only thought on that.
Tom, did you see we have a VIP in the lobby?
We have a VIP. Who is it?
He's saying he's a site manager for CleanSpark for Norcross.
Oh, who?
Craig Miller, a.k.a. Craig Miller.
Oh, so Craig, when you say we, you mean we. All right. I don't think I met you, Craig. We met a bunch of the people, and we were gonna do a tour of your facility.
We called somebody, didn't we? But it just didn't work out.
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't work out. Hopefully, so Craig. Hopefully, we can maybe get a hold of you in the future and go do. What we want to do is bring the camera, do a tour of the facility. I originally was talking to Isaac about it, and we started talking to somebody else. We can talk about that later. But thank you for being on the live stream. Welcome. So we have a VIP. We have the site manager at the Norcross facility in Georgia for CleanSpark. Well, congratulations to you and all of your team. Tell Isaac I said hello. You guys are, in my opinion, you guys are killing it.
Do you get paid in Bitcoin?
For the record, I have never been paid a penny by any Bitcoin mining company. So, not that I wouldn't, but I'm going to tell it like it is either way.
Expenses? Well, that's a different story.
So Craig saying for real, yes. Well, I'm glad to have you on the stream. That's awesome. I don't know if you saw my video. I did a CleanSpark video today for you guys. So, well, not for you guys, on you guys. That was my second one this week because you're so active. CleanSpark is the most active Bitcoin mining company by far right now. Barry saying, I think this is WonderFi. WONDF. I've looked at them. I'll put that in the next.
You won't like one of the owners, though.
Well, I know. That's a Kevin O'Leary's in there.
Oh, is that Mr. Wonderful? There you go.
Why? Did somebody say you won't like that?
No, but that's why his ticker is what his ticker is.
I mean, it's a small market cap. On the Tuesday member stream, I will put them in the poll for me to do a video on. And let's see if they win, because I am interested in them. It's early stages, but that is an interesting company, Barry. So thanks for the remind me on the Tuesday stream. Definitely, I will put them in the poll. Tom should have Craig as a guest. Yeah, I'd be glad to have Craig as a guest. So, Craig, if you want, I
cannot believe that he did that, Mr. Wonderful.
Craig, if you want to send your info on my YouTube page, there's an email address, and if you just tell me it's you, we can talk if you're interested in talking any further or whatever the case may be. But just glad to have you on the live stream.
Tom, you know what?
Jeff is saying, I've heard some YouTubers are definitely paid. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that are paid to do videos.
We know of one. I'm not going to mention. I'm not saying anything. I'm just laughing. How about that?
I still don't have my bell. This is a George moment. He knows what he's not saying.
Oh, my God. Let's just put it this way. It was very interesting at the Bitcoin conference. Yeah. I can read through the lines.
I believe I know who you're talking about, but
You
I
know
don't
exactly
know that
what, and I'm not saying anything else because then foot in mouth again.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of YouTubers get paid. Really, in my opinion, it's okay to get paid, but what you should do is disclose it. Like if you're doing a paid video, you should start out by saying this video is I'm being paid, and this video is sponsored by, you know, if it's being sponsored by the company you're doing the video on, you really should disclose that. I mean, that's a no-brainer. So thus far, I have just not done that. So, you know, these are just my views. And if I get paid, they're still going to be my views. So, you know, people probably, before they offer me any money, ought to watch my videos. Because if I don't like what you're doing, that's what I'm going to say in the video.
Tom's saying he can't be bought.
Well, the channel is worthless if all I'm doing is just getting paid to say good things about companies. And I think I've been pretty straightforward along the way.
I think Marathon would, if anybody was going to pay you, Marathon, they should have paid you.
Yeah.
But in the scheme of things, we're not big enough to really, you know what I mean?
No, we don't. We're small. We don't affect the market in any way.
We're going to try to double the channel in the next 2 months, by the way, guys. That's our goal. We hired somebody.
Yes. That is our goal. So tell your friends. Spread the word.
Tell your friends.
Darren is saying, I'll roll the CleanSpark management bonus into another story. Plug management gets stock option bonuses on January 1st, 2025. If stock is above $100 US dollars, it's at $14.79 today, and I'm hoping management gets. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. You want them to hit these benchmarks because that means we all won. That's the point of these incentives. You know, if management has no incentive, obviously everybody should intrinsically be motivated to do their work. But that's really, as a shareholder, that's not what I want to count on. I expect the board of directors to do their job and make sure that management is properly motivated so that the company succeeds and dominates, right? Because these guys, you can bet that, you know, Jason at Riot, he doesn't work from 9 to 5. He eats, drinks, sleeps, breathes what he's doing. Riot. And obviously, you know, same thing is true for Bitfarm management, CleanSpark management. It's their life. When you have a job like that, it's all consuming. So they should, you know, you gotta be motivated and properly compensated, in my opinion.
Well, hey, I'm going to let you close it out and sneak out, okay, buddy?
All right, have a good weekend, George. Thanks for joining us.
Have a
Any
great
parting
evening,
thoughts?
Everyone. Sell before the 8th. Not financial advice.
Of December.
But I think Bitcoin, I hope that wasn't caught on stream. It just, on December, no, November. I think we're starting to trickle back down after the 8th. I think we'll see the high for what it's going to get to at this low run.
George thinks we're going to peak out at the election, and that's going to be that.
For a little while. Let's see. Who knows? It's going to go one way, right? Up or down, down or up. See you guys.
All right, George. Thanks again. See you later. All right. Everybody, don't forget to hit the like button. I think everybody's already subscribed, but if you can hit the like button, it helps us out. I appreciate it. Jeff's saying we know of the same one, George, so he must know which one George is talking about. Okay, Craig, so you know I talked with Isaac. Yes. Yeah, and yeah, we'd love to have you on the show, and I'd like to talk to Isaac again, and I try and stay up to date with everybody and have so that our, you know, the viewers can stay up to date as well. Alex is requesting more cowbell from George. There's a great take, but we need more cowbell. Martin's saying, ask him how they plan to get to 22 exahash. So, I mean, that's a conversation that I got to have with him, and I'm sure, you know, there's not a one-sentence answer to that. But, yeah, that's definitely I mean, they've been absolutely adamant in every single press release that they are on target to get to 22 exahash by the end of 2023. So if they do that, I mean, they're going to be as big as Marathon, and you know, they'll have very little to no debt versus where Marathon sits. So that remains to be seen. It's the billion-dollar question. Jeff's saying 1.5 billion, said Jeff. What do you mean by that, Jeff? Craig saying maybe he can get his boss. That would be good. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That would be good. You know, you can join us on a live stream, or we can do an extra. I can do a video just with you guys, you know, and post it separately. So just let me know go to my thing and send me an email, and I'll know how to get a hold of you. Alex is saying, Tom, FNKO went from $20 today to $8. Overreaction from earnings report. I think watch list. Wow. I'm pulling that one up. That's a disaster. So that's going to go on the list. Yeah, I mean, that looks like a game over type of a move. Down 60%. That's brutal. All right, I'll dig into that. I don't know anything about them, but it sounds like you do, Alex. So I'm adding it to my watch list, and I will do some preliminary legwork and see what's going on there. There have been some stocks that have gotten taken out recently, so this is becoming, you know, DraftKings did not have the best day today. Although they're still not at their 52-week low, so for anybody who's following, this is a very popular retail stock, so I know a lot of people follow this. They were down 28% today. But $9.77 is their 52-week low, and they're still at $11.31. So even down 28%, I'm not interested in them. Also, by the way, for me personally, not financial advice, I am not interested in DraftKings. They're just too many years away from making money. It's a great business model. Maybe they're going to be the ultimate success. They're too many years away from making money, and I'm all right. This is a high-risk investment, and I feel like my Bitcoin miners take up that percentage of my portfolio. So there's not a lot of room left for things like DraftKings. Oh, Shaman says, I'm speechless that we have a CleanSpark employee here. So thank you, Craig. Everybody's excited to have you here. It will be fun. If we can get together and make a video together, they'll be able to put a face to the name, and that'll be nice. So hopefully we can do that. I met a bunch of your co-workers at the Bitcoin conference in Miami. So nice people. All nice people. As far as I know. All right, so I'm just going to take a quick look. We really didn't even go through. Just going to do some of the. This is the end of the week. So the first thing I'll say is it's Friday, and in the middle of the day. So we had this. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I was saying, here we go again. It's Friday, and what looked like a big green day is going to get taken away from us, and we're going to have another giant down day. But that did not happen. We leveled off and picked back up. And we finished over 21,000. I think that is key, and we're still over 21,000 right now. That's a big, big jump. So if we can hold 21,000 over the weekend, that's how I feel like Bitcoin is going to move. We're moving. This is slowly but surely. We don't seem to be having any of these days where, oh, we're up $4,500 today. But slowly but surely, we seem to be having these small runs moving us in the right direction. And we've come a long way, because remember, it was only a few weeks ago we were stuck for a month at 19,200. So we are now $2,000 above that. And it's been a slow, steady rise above that. So Craig's saying, Shaman's saying it's awesome, but is the advice impartial? I mean, Craig is allowed to be on the. He's a interested party, and he's on the live stream. He's disclosed that he's an employee, and he's saying himself, like, he wouldn't be the person to ask as to whether or not how they would get to 22 exahash, and so that makes sense. Darren's saying Bitcoin's at 21,121 right now. So to me, that's key. We hold that 21. It's just, we just keep taking steps, and it's been very, very steady. Let me go back to, this is the 15 minutes. So I mean, this is where we closed yesterday. So I mean, really, we were up. So this orange line, you guys are probably sick of me saying this, but this orange line is where Bitcoin was when the equity markets closed yesterday in the US. So if we go from there to where we are right now, we're up, over 4%. Let's go from close to close. That's what's fair. Where's 4 o'clock? That's the 1545. So, basically the same spot. So we closed up 4.25%. So that's a giant up day for Bitcoin. That's a very nice day. And I don't think the Bitcoin miners reflected that. So I'm going to just look at that for a minute. Bitfarms was red all day long. It finished up 0.1%. I mean, that's flat on the day, very near its all-time low. HUT had a good day. HUT was strong all day. HUT has been one of the stronger stocks. So they were up almost 8% on the day. CleanSpark had a nice day, up around 5%. Riot was up 5%. Marathon was up 3%. Iris Energy was up 8%, but they got beat up for a few days based on that press release. So I think this is people just kind of coming back around and digesting that. And so they had a good day because of that. Core Scientific down another 11%. So they've been bouncing around this 15-cent range. But I mean, 15 cents. When this stock got to $5, I thought it was crazy. Then it got to $2, $1, and then it crashed straight down to 20 cents. So they're at 15 cents now. Obviously, that's something totally different is going on there altogether. JD saying, yay, go CleanSpark. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of CleanSpark investors on the live stream. And I've always made it clear that I'm one of them. So Shaman is saying, I'm following you and buying more ITF and I think Bitfarms and CleanSpark. Yeah, I mean, I just for Bitfarms to be a penny off of its low, it makes no sense to me. Bitcoin had a great day today. The NASDAQ had a good day today. Why Bitcoin was sideways, I think, was this rumor that was going around that just, was just piling on to what is already a lot of worrying about Bitfarms. So those are my two that I've been buying into this week. Let's see. Girl saying it looks like Bitcoin decoupled from the NASDAQ last couple of days. NASDAQ didn't drop big. I think if you look at the last month or month and a half, if you look at it in detail, I think there's been a decoupling. Even though at some points in total they ended up in the same place, here's the big difference. The NASDAQ took out its lows from the summer, and it's hit a series of new lows. Bitcoin has been, through all that downward pressure, Bitcoin was steady. It stayed very steady, actually, and it just kept kind of increasing inch by inch by inch. So the two, and then, the NASDAQ would run up and catch up. So to that extent, you know, if you look at it over time, maybe they look similar, but there is a fundamental difference, which is that the NASDAQ had a lot of rough days, and on those rough days, Bitcoin did not crash like it usually does. Usually Bitcoin has an exaggerated effect versus whatever the NASDAQ is doing. And in this instance, they just acted totally separately on their own. So I don't know that we can say that's the beginning of the end of the correlation there, but for the last, in my mind, the last 6 weeks, there has been a difference for sure. Gary said Hive finally broke the June low yesterday. So, and Hive has not yet given their October report. So I am anxiously awaiting that report. That's going to be very telling. So I want to see what's going on in there. They're a little bit later on their financials. I think they do those in December. A lot of these companies are reporting in November. So we'll be getting, you know, for the next 6 weeks, we'll be getting financial statements across the board from all these guys. But I'd like to see that operational update because obviously Hive had to do a big switching of gears. So let's see what it looks like. Apparently people are not confident because it took out its lows. And they were one of the last ones. Almost every single Bitcoin miner has already taken out their June low. I show that chart in a lot of, that's one of the things that I follow on the channel in a lot of my videos. I show a chart, and I'll show it again this weekend, updated through the end of this week, where all the Bitcoin miners are in comparison to their lows in June. The vast majority of Bitcoin miners are lower than their June lows right now. So it's been, and again, Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin has not gotten, Bitcoin's never revisited its June lows. But all the Bitcoin miners have. So they are behaving badly lately. So this is just a part of the leveraged pain that we're suffering. And a lot of people, you know, when I hear people like George and other people, you know, that have had a lot of conviction start to waver, to me, those are continued signs of a bottoming out process, in my opinion. Now, you know, the other alternative is those people will tell me that it's because I'm wrong and Bitcoin's going to go down. But for me, it's just my opinion. I don't think that's the case. Darren saying, Tom, those are the cycles why I had you look back 4 years. These are nothing more than standard cycles. Bitcoin prices, elections, housing, interest rate. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's right. If you look, that's the zoom out philosophy. Right, because Bitcoin is still at $21,000. I mean, you know, what was it 10 years ago? $10? I mean, you know, this is still a massively high volatility investment. Let's see. All right, so does anybody else have any questions or thoughts to close out the week? I feel like this was a good week. We're up. I feel like we had a breakout. I'm going to go to the one-day schedule here. Oh, this is the 1 week. That's why it looks so crazy. So I'm gonna change this line right here with everybody because this was a nice run up. It looked like we had peaked and we were headed back down, but really we got a higher low, and this was a gigantic green candle today. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So, and it's a higher high, so we're not here anymore, and I'm gonna move it with you guys. We're here now. So, in my opinion, although, you know, it's not the biggest rally that's ever happened, and the Bitcoin miners are not participating yet. But eventually, if Bitcoin gets to that up 25%, 30%, 35 or 40%, like it has a couple of times, the Bitcoin miners are going to have to follow along sooner or later, in my opinion. And that doesn't mean every single Bitcoin miner, right? We're starting to see all these miners don't behave the same anymore. They did behave as a group for a long time as they were maturing, but There's big differences between these miners now, so you have to know your miner. You know, every Bitcoin miner has its own strategy, and we talked about a few of them, and they can be radically different. Sour Melon Gaming is asking, what price range do you see Bitfarms if Bitcoin goes back to all-time high? So I'm not even thinking all-time high yet, but it was, you know, it was around I think it was at like the $9.36 last time when Bitcoin hit its all-time high. And I would expect it to be a lot higher than that because they're a much, much bigger company. Particularly if it takes a year or two to get back there, then, you know, I don't know, $20 seems like a reasonable price target. And I know that's, to a lot of people, that sounds crazy. They're under $1 right now. But if you look back, this is what Gary's point was earlier. You got to look at these Bitcoin cycles. This is what happens. So, sorry, it was Darren who was saying that earlier. These Bitcoin cycles are vicious. So, the downside, you know, is down. But the upside, we just had, you only have to look back to 2021. Riot and Marathon 40 or 50x'd in a very short period of time. So what I'm talking about is something like a 20x over the next 2 or 3 years for Bitfarms if they execute well and Bitcoin gets back to its all-time high. So that's probably actually conservative versus the price action that's happened in the past. So this is not theoretical price action. And just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. And I get that. And, you know, it's all a risk. But we've seen much bigger moves than that. So it's not, it sounds outlandish, but it's really not. Some of these are going to do that, in my opinion. Michael, I have to answer for George because he's gone, but he bought no stocks this week. George he is a bear right now. Hey Jeff, hi Tom, just got home. What was your thoughts about Bitfarms news? I'll go back and listen. Yeah, I talked about Bitfarms. I think they had more FUD thrown at them today. I think it affected their stock price all day today. I did buy more Bitfarms today. So, to me, this was a buying opportunity. I think, you know, when they're going to do nonsense like this, and that's what I think it is. That's my personal opinion. So, you know, they came out and addressed it in their own press release. I'm not positive I would have done that myself, but they have a lot more information than I do, so I'm gonna say they know what they're doing. But to me, it was buying opportunity. Bitfarms is they're one of the ones I like. I mean, I'm sticking to that. That has been true the whole time. Yeah, great point, Chris Dominator. Yesterday, the other miners were down 4 or 5%, and Bitfarms was flat. It was down 0.18%. So, you know, Bitfarms has acted a little bit counter to the other miners for a little while for whatever reason. But, yeah, yesterday, so, you know, today maybe is evening out yesterday. It's hard to say because that goes on and on. Bitfarms was 11% green, and other miners were 4% green, break even over the 2 days. So that's a fair point. Tom, one last watch list candidate. ATHM. Sorry, I'm just going to write it down. ATHM. Good. This time, so on the next members live stream, we won't have to search for picks. We got some candidates for the vote. So once on the member live stream, we vote, and whatever the members pick, I do a video on that company. So a lot of times if it's a company I don't know, that's what I'm hoping for and looking for is, you know, all you guys know companies a lot better. Everybody has their own companies that they know inside and out. So I'm looking for suggestions of companies that you guys know inside and out that you think's worth a look, so I can take a look and share my thoughts. That's the point of that. Darren saying I'm thinking Bitcoin will 8x to 10x today's price 9 months after the halving. This is, of course, correlated with the election year. So, yeah, I mean, if it can 8 to 10x, so 8 to 10x today's price, yeah, you're talking somewhere between $160,000 and $200,000. And you're talking late 2024 right? If I'm doing the math right, and that's why you're saying it correlated with the election year. So that's what Darren's thinking, $160,000 to $200,000 for Bitcoin sometime maybe 9 months after the halving in 2024. So sometime just maybe at the end of 2024. Jeff saying, thanks. I bought some more also today. Rama, and sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. My prediction next week trending down. Core CPI reading. Republican House. Broad market rally along with Bitcoin. So you're calling for a rally. Well, I hope you're right. ATNM. Oh, all right. Let me fix that. ATNM. Okay, got it, Alex. Well, I'd love to see a rally. You know, I know that I hope the elections go in a way where it's not a big, giant fiasco again and everybody's got to argue about it for months and months. Whatever it is, let's just have the elections and know what happened and move on, because it's the uncertain. For me, that's the biggest thing. And I look at everything through the investor lens. Uncertainty is bad. So if we don't know who won the elections for a week, that's not good. So I would just rather know. Hopefully we get some clarity next week sooner than later. Craig is saying, can you show that efficiency chart, Bitcoin mined versus per exahash? I am going to do a video tomorrow, and I will update that for, and October, I only have a few of the Bitcoin mining companies. You guys have already put out your results for October. Obviously, the difficulty level has increased. So, you know, the target number's going down because, you know, it's harder to mine Bitcoin. But I know that CleanSpark is always amongst the leaders. There are some companies that are struggling. So that's a big, big indicator for me. And it's one of the things I want to talk to Riot about, because they're one of the companies that maybe isn't quite where I would think that they should be. But I would like to give them a chance to talk about that and see, you know, let them respond. Gary's saying Bitfarms, CleanSpark, Riot, and Iris Energy have good costs. Yeah, so their cost per Bitcoin, if that holds, and that's why I want to see the financial statements. I'd like to see that some of these costs, even if they went up proportionally, hopefully, you know, those companies in the past have had lower energy costs for their per Bitcoin. And obviously in this bear market, with Bitcoin at 20,000, if your energy costs are 10, you're still doing just fine. That's a 50% gross profit margin. I know that in the Bitcoin mining world, we're used to 90% or 85%, but 50 is still very healthy. So, but, you know, if your mining costs are $18,000 and we've been at $19,200, that's not so good. Chris is saying I bought Bitfarms today too, so I think the stream agrees that today was a buying opportunity for Bitfarms. All right, Alex has another one for me. When is the Riot vote? I don't know what the answer to that is. Rama's saying, I think CleanSpark tops the efficiency chart. I know that they, you know, in the past, this is why I want to see Hive's. Hive's always been very efficient, but they've always mined a lot of Ethereum. So this will be their first month with 0 Ethereum mining. So I want to see where they land. Yes, CleanSpark's usually been very efficient over the course of time. They're near the top of that list. There are a few that are consistently very near the top of that list. And I don't care, you know, if they're within 1 or 2 or 3 points of each other, you know, I just want to see them near the top of that list, being the top performers, especially when you couple that, when you couple the efficiency with being one of the lower cost per Bitcoin. Now you're putting some things together that are a formula for success. Alex is saying the Riot vote deadline is November 16th. So for me, I will tell you on Riot, I'm not going to vote. And And I think the vote's going to pass, and I'm okay with it. I know that is probably absolutely nobody agrees with me on that, but that's my opinion. Craig is saying, wondering if Tom has an updated one for October. So for October, a lot of companies haven't reported yet. So CleanSpark's reported, Bitfarms reported, Marathon reported, Riot reported, Bit Digital reported. Who else? Who hasn't reported? Hive has not reported. Iris Energy has not reported, unless they've done it while we're talking on this live stream. Argo Blockchain has not reported. Core Scientific has not reported. And again, they're still mining. I mean, they have their financial problems going on one end, but I'd still like to see what they're doing operationally, because they're still mining 40 Bitcoin a day. So I want to see Core Scientific's numbers. So we're waiting for Core, we're waiting for Argo, we're waiting for Gree, we're waiting for Iris. Bit Digital did report. Hive has not reported. So it feels like we're about 50% of the way through. And I'll update as I go through each one. I will try to compare, but I don't want to do the overall comparison, at least until I have a majority of these. If one or two of these are holdouts, I'm not going to hold the whole process up and wait for it, but hopefully, usually by next weekend, I have enough information to update all my monthly charts. So that's what I'm expecting to do. Darren saying, I hope to have 10,000 shares to vote with. That's a nice position. So, and again, I hold a position in Riot. I like them. I think they're, I like their balance sheet. Operationally, I got some questions for them. Obviously they're a high growth company. But they're a low debt company. So I really am looking for, I have not gotten a chance to talk to them yet. So I'm looking forward. There's some real questions that I have for them that, hopefully they'll give some type of meaningful answers to. Sour Melon Gaming, I'm not going to vote for dilution for Riot, not at the current share price at least. So I know nobody wants dilution for Riot, and certainly nobody wants it down here at $5. Or, they did get as low as $4. But the fact is, we're looking at either dilution or debt. So, for me, at Bitcoin $21,000, that is the last case scenario for me. So I would, if they need money to get where they're going, yeah, it's not ideal, but it's a lot better than debt, because you can see the debt is putting companies out of business. And I don't want them to get into that situation. Darren saying, okay, I'll pitch the case to vote on Riot Proxy. Do you want them to have the ability to jump on a below market acquisition that makes sense for both you and the investor and them, the company? So you want to vote for. You're voting yes. Am I right? Or am I misunderstanding what you're saying there? Right, because they're going to need the shares if they want to, and there's opportunities abounding, it would seem. Not all of these guys are at the finish line, but there's the potential for an awful lot of very cheap, brand new, never been used ASIC machines to become available over the next 90 days. Alex is saying Riot needs capital for expansion. Darren is saying I'm voting yes. I mean, I believe I'm fairly certain that is going to pass. I know they have some big blocks of people voting yes, so I'm fairly certain it's going to pass. The last time they took it off of the agenda because they knew it wasn't going to pass, but I think the fact that they're having the vote, they know that this time around they've got it. So we'll see, though. You never know until the vote is over. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up, everybody. I want to thank all the members. First and foremost, thank you very much for joining and being members. And anybody who's not a member, it is only $5. You don't have to do it, obviously, but you're welcome to be a member. And I want to thank everybody else, all the subscribers, all the people who leave comments. I truly appreciate it. I've been trying to catch up on the comments. I spend so much time deleting scam and spam comments. I'm trying to find a way around that, but it just seems like, and there's a lot of people pretending to be me. I think all of you guys know better by far than to respond to any of those, but I'm trying to delete them as I go. I wish there was a way to get rid of them, but there's just not. But anyway, thank you for your comments. I read them all, so I do appreciate them. And believe me, it does make, when I get positive comments, it makes a difference, only because there are the negative comments out there. And as much as we'd all like to pretend that, you know, they don't matter and I don't pay any attention, and I try not to pay any attention and let it go, but it's not fun. I did have I want to make a top 10 comments list of all time. I had somebody make fun of my hair. They just went off on my hair. I think they think I have a wig. So that's my new all-time favorite comment. I'll try and find that for the next live stream and show you guys what it was. Alex is saying maybe for Cores, buying machines from Cores for Riot. Mark saying we're smarter than those bots. I know you are, Mark. You're right. It's just frustrating. I hate, you know, somebody sitting out there, or they use my picture and they represent that they're me, and obviously it's a bot just trying to steal people's money. Thanks, JD. Thanks, Barry. Thank you, Maddox. So thanks, everybody. Thanks again. I just like to reiterate that I'm never going to take you guys for granted. I really appreciate all the support, the views, the comments, everything. So I just always like to take the time at the end of my live stream to just thank everybody. So thanks again. Everybody have a great weekend. We had a Green Friday, so hopefully that'll help everybody's weekend. And so I guess that's it. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks so much.